how do we explain what change did the Friedrich Rebbe make in American Jewry by coming to America? So, being that this Shabbos we read Parshas Bay, so I connected to something that I once said on Parshas Bay. In Parshas Bay we read about the Korban Pesach. And it says by the Korban Pesach something unique that we don't find any place in the Torah by Kabbonos. It tells you how you must eat the Korban Pesach. It says, Al teichu mimenu no, Rashi teaches no means half raw, but some say the Ebenezer and the Targum teach no means raw. Ubashum avusha b'mayim, you shouldn't eat it cooked. Ki im tzriyesh. So l'chayra, it's a double pella. The reason it's a double pella is because the din by Kachim is based on the pasuk in Chumash that the Eibusher gave the Kahanim the opportunity to eat a korban any way they want. They could eat it raw, they could eat it cooked, they could eat it roasted, they could anything they could do. And by Pesach over here in this parsha over here it says, no, not raw, even though you may. Some people like raw meat. I don't know. I never tasted it, but some people like raw meat. Some people like cooked, and some people like roasted. I remember by the big dinners that we used to make in the yeshiva. So there were people came from all here, and they served a steak, what they call it, a roast, and people here they wanted half raw. Yeah, that's a taiva. You can't have the kasha on a taiva. So in order to explain it, I once told a story. There were, in 770, today they have a very good loudspeaker system that when the Rebbe would speak, you were able to hear all over, no problems at all. In the early years, there used to be speakers in different parts of the shul, and there was an amplifier box on a window in back of the Rebbe, and there was a man that would stand there, and he would keep playing with the buttons over there, and people would signal to him, they don't hear good over here, so he'd play with the button. Over here, he was playing, he was an electrician. I don't know if anyone remembers him or knew him. His name was Mr. Zweig. Zweig, the electrician. Okay. So when I moved into my house on Crown Street.
Oh, first time, yeah.
After living there a little time, we decided that we wanted to make some changes in the kitchen. So I contacted Mr. Zweig and asked him to come over, that we'd like him to do some electrical work. And he came and he asked us to tell him everything what we want. My wife wants this, my wife wants that, all the different things. And then my wife says to him that I'd also like to have above the stove, I'd like to have an exhaust. You know, an exhaust machach. I don't make an exhaust. So I didn't understand. I said, Mr. Zweig, if you trust me that I'm going to pay you, so why you make the exhaust? If you trust me that I'm not going to pay you, why are you doing anything? So he says, I'll explain you. He said, there was a time, he says, that when you walked into a Yiddish house before Shabbos, you smelled the Shabbos. You smelled challah baking, you smelled the chont getting ready, you smelled the meat, the roast, you smelled. Comes along the exhaust, and the exhaust killed the whole Shabbos smell. And say, I don't want to be a partner in making and killing a Shabbos smell. And he says to me, if you don't believe me, go into an apartment house. Today there were a lot of apartment houses already with Schwarzer living over there. And you can't even walk into the hallway. It smells so bad from all the things they're making.
Yeah.
So what happened over here, the Eibishter comes up with something very strange. Mitzrayim worshipped the sheep. That was their god. Hard to explain how human people would worship an animal, but that's a fact. That was the god of Mitzrayim. Comes away and tells the Yidden that they should take the sheep and they should kill the sheep and make a yontif with it. So the Yidden got very frightened. And how we can do such a thing? So they said to Moshe Rabbeinu, you know what? We have an idea. Please go and talk to Hashem and tell Hashem that we can't do it. But what will be that He wants us to do it? We'll eat the meat raw. And we'll eat the meat raw so no one will know what we're doing. Nobody will be able to smell it. No one will know what we're doing. So the Eibishter told Moshe, told the Yidden, Al toichu mimenu no. No. That's not what I want. I don't want you to eat it raw. So the Yidden came up with another idea. And they said to Moshe, you know, when you cook meat, it doesn't smell so much. When you make a barbecue, it smells, oh boy, does it smell. But when you cook meat, so they said, you know what, we'll cook it. So maybe they wouldn't know what we're doing. They wouldn't realize what we're doing. So the Eibishter says, not only no, I don't want that you should eat it raw, but also vashum avushum amayim. I don't want you to eat it also cooked. How do I want you to eat it? Ki'im, tzli eish, rosh hakrov, v'kirboin. In other words, I want that there should go a smell all over Mitzrayim. The whole Mitzrayim should know that the Yidden have a yontif. The problem there was Yiddishkeit in America before the Rebbe came. Anyone that thinks otherwise, Pasha doesn't know what's going on. Let me give you an example. In Crown Heights, there's a mikveh on Union, right? The Rebbe used the mikveh, the Babich used the mikveh. Who made that mikveh? You know that mikveh was there before the Babich came to Crown Heights?
Who built it?
It was built by the shuls. There was a shul, Kol Yisrael, on Franklin. There was this shul over here. There was Chayvei Torah. There was Reiner's shul. I can give you a whole list of shuls. They had an organization. They raised money many years ago, back before the Friedrich Rebbe came to America, and they built the mikvah on Union. In fact, there used to be I remember still, there used to be a big sign on the window of the door, at top of the door. It said in English, ritualarium.
Right.
I don't know if anyone knows how you say a mikveh in English. Ritualarium. So, as far as yeshivas are concerned, I'll give you a whole list of yeshivas. There was a Tervadas, and there was a Chaim Berlin, and there was a Yankiv Yosef, and there was a Shlomo Kruger, and there was also a Yeshiva University, but there were yeshivas in America.
Yeshiva Crown Heights?
Yeshiva of Crown Heights, okay. Yeshiva of Eastern Parkway. They're all were yeshiva. So what did the Rebbe change in America? Okay. The Teretz says it had no reich to it. It was like it was like a deodorant that is odorless.
No.
You know, the Yiddishkeit was odorless. Comes along Lubavitch, and the Rebbe changed one thing that I use the word, I don't know if there's such a word in English, but he aromatized Yiddishkeit in America. Mm-hmm. But the Siegel Marshal, there was no such thing in those days as a yeshiva boy with a beard. That was something new, and no one ever knew it. No one believes it. And then later they started sending these boys around the world. How did they start these yeshivas? All these yeshivas that were started in New England, in Springfield, and in Philadelphia, and in Rochester, and many, many yeshivas that they started. How did they start it? I'll tell you how they started the yeshivas. There was a Meshuach that worked for the yeshivas. His name was Pinchas Weiler. Pinchas Weiler was a Yid who learned in Lubavitch, and he was a collector for the yeshivas. He would travel around making appeals to raise money for the yeshiva, Lubavitch yeshiva. He'd come to a city, and right away he would start. He made a shtickle Meshiva Shabbos, where he'd get together a few kids and made them Meshiva Shabbos. Then he'd get together a few kids that they should come. We'll learn. And right away he sent a letter to the Friedrich Rebbe, or called the Friedrich Rebbe, that I'm starting a yeshiva. What did he do? He sent out a young bacher. Those yeshivas, those days, were started by young bachim. That's how Yiddishkeit broke through in America. So today you have doctors with yarmulkes, doctors with beards. Did you have such a thing before? No, they were from doctors, but no doctor ever thought of wearing a yarmulke. You had lawyers. No lawyer ever thought of wearing a yarmulke or a beard. And today you have even frummer judges. And you have frummer people that are mayors and other things. That's a change that I think the Rebbe gets the credit for breaking that through. Of course, once the Rebbe started, others also started. The Rebbe started making yeshivas, then they started Torah Masada. They were afraid that Lubavitch will take over everything. But who started it, who was the catalyst, was the Friedrich Rebbe. And that's what one of the big accomplishments that the Friedrich Rebbe made here in America.